I'm Jaden Kaler.
I'm Shane Lemble.
I'm Jess Claycomb, and today we have special guest Bobcat legend Payton Watt.
Today we're going to talk about Russel Westbrook's fallout in the NBA playoffs.
Damian Lillard's first round and how he could be a potential top 7 player.
The future of the Mavericks organization and many other up-and-coming NBA franchises.
And we'll also be taking a look at the NFL draft and kind of recapping that.
So, as you can see, the Thunder lost in the first round to the Portland Trail Blazers 3-1. And if you look at Russell Westbrook's numbers, it looked like he played great, but I really don't think he did. He averaged 22.8 points, 9 rebounds, and 10.6 assists. But he also had 4.6 turnovers, an assist-to-turnover ratio of 2.3. He also shot 22 shots a game and didn't shoot a very great percentage. He shot 36% field goal and 32 from 3. But he did shoot 88% from the free throw line and abysmal 37% from 2.
Yeah, he made up from the free throw line from how horrible he shot from 2. And if you watched any of those games, you could probably say Russ kind of lost in that series. Damian Lillard just kind of took over, and it made Russ look really bad. And Russ didn't play to his full potential, I don't think.
See, I think I kind of agree with Jess. He could have played better, but I think 3 out of 5 of his games he played pretty good. So, like in Game 1, he had 24 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. He did have 4 turnovers, like Jaden mentioned, but if you kind of watch Westbrook and how he plays, he's going to have turnovers. It's kind of inevitable, and then like in Game 3, he had 33 points, and then Game 5, he had 29. So I don't think he played terrible, but he could have played better.
I would say Russ played good in the 33-point game and Game 5, but the Game 5 was just overshadowed because Damian Lillard just was God.
Yeah, and I'd probably agree with both sides, but the thing you get with Russ is he's an energy player and he kind of comes off the momentum of the game. And, of course, you know, the way he plays, he's a volume shooter, like Shane said, and the turnovers come with his fast pace. But what you get every night from Russ as a player is going to come and play every night. And, you know, he's a dog, so he's going to come and he's going to get in people's faces. And Damian Lillard said he didn't like that, but that's just Russ's play style. He plays with so much energy and passion, but at the same time, he needs to learn how to channel that energy and passion. And I don't want to say like cap that, because you don't want to say that about some dude's energy or passion for the game, because you want that to be through the roof. But if he can somehow channel that energy and put it into the flow of his game, then I think Russ potentially becomes a top 4, 3 NBA player. Right, because we used to discuss him as a top 7, right? You know, inevitable, because, you know, he's averaging a triple-double. But after this series, you take a step back and look, and you're like, well, you know, what could he do better? And every year he's improved, I'll say that. And Russ is one of my favorite players. But you take a step back after this series and after the whole Damian Lillard thing, and you're like, I'd say he's top 10, but I think he kind of fell away.
Yeah, I agree with Payton on that, and that's just the way Russ plays, is energy-wise. And I think the way he plays with his energy, I think that affects his shot selection as well. His energy kind of gets him going. He takes bad shots, and that's kind of what affects his percentages and his team losing, and I think that's a big reason.
I agree with the 22 shots. There were a lot of those that were bad shots that he could have probably got an assist or gotten a better look for somebody else later in the shot clock or something. But I agree, he is a great player, and he has gotten better. But if you look at the Thunder now, I don't know if he's really the guy that needs to be taking 22 shots a game. I feel like it could be Paul George. He's more the offensive leader, I think, now.
Yeah, probably. I think Russ is going to turn into more of a true point guard as time goes by, because he won't have the explosiveness near as much entering his 30s.
And to add to that, you know, we've all been there when you're riding high momentum in a game, because Russ makes a lot of energy plays. You know, he gets a lot of steals, blocks, and stuff, and you know, you start getting that adrenaline going after that steal or block or whatever happens, and you're like, well, I'm going to come down and I'm going to hit this in Damian Lillard's face, or whoever you're going up against, even if you're a high school player or what. Yeah. But he rides that emotion so much, and it's a good thing at the same time, because he's always locked into the game. you're never going to question whether he's ready to go or not. But I think that's where some of the bad shot selection comes from is, he makes a huge energy play and he comes down and he just jacks one up.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a win-lose because you never can put a cap on somebody's passion for the game.
You
like
can't
that.
tell him to lower their energy level.
No, exactly.
Or lower their
Because
intensity.
then he's not himself.
Yeah, exactly. You got to let Russ be himself, and I agree with Shane as time goes on. He'll become a more true point guard, but right now we need to really appreciate who Russ is because, you can't really say you've ever seen a point guard like him.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people like to bash on him because he's in your face about a lot, but I think if people learn to appreciate Russ, man, he's a really good player, and I can't wait to see how he improves next season.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that he's a stat patter, but I don't always think he is. I just think it's how hard he plays the game. Every game, he's just 100 miles an hour nonstop all the time.
I think Russ could be a stat patter some games. I look at last season, he averaged 20-plus points a game, and the last game of the regular season, I always remember this one. The last game of the regular season, he needed a certain amount of rebounds and a certain amount of assists to reach that triple-double margin again, averaging throughout the regular season, and he had 6 points that game and 15 to 20 rebounds and 15 to 20 assists. So I think that was a major stat pad there, but I think it depends on the game and momentum, which way it flows and how he plays that game, and I think he could.
I think he's either a great player or just a decent player. I don't think he's ever really just in the middle where he's just okay. I think he's either great or not very good. But I think Russ is one of the best players, one of the best point guards to ever play all around, but he just gets a little wild sometimes.
Yeah, true.
So, you want to talk about Damian Lillard now?
Yeah, we can move on to Dame.
All right.
I think Dame really showed what he can do in the first first round of the playoffs. And being a Nuggets fan, which they're matching up second round, I'm kind of scared for my Nuggets, as Damian shows a lot of potential in that first round. I think Dame is definitely a top 3-point guard behind Kyrie and Steph, maybe even above Kyrie in that. But Steph, I think he has that lock for 1 right now. But Dame, showing that first round, he averaged 33 points, and he shot 46 from 2 and 48 from 3. And I think that definitely will show Dame as a top 7 player pretty easily, if not 7 or 8 in the NBA, and he really showed that first round.
Yeah, I think Damian actually is probably the most underrated player in the NBA. He goes into every game and just does his job every night and doesn't complain ever or anything. And I think he should be an All-NBA second-team selection this year.
Yeah, I agree. Being one of the coldest players in the NBA right now. Just being so clutch when it comes down to it and showing what he's got in crunch time.
And they also play in a tough conference, too, so it's hard to carry his team to all those wins.
Yeah, I agree.
I really say C.J. McCollum too came in as a huge 2 guard this last series, and this backcourt duo has been prevalent the last 4 years in the West, but they've been hiding behind the Warriors. With LeBron coming to the Lakers, you weren't hearing much buzz about the Blazers coming into this season. The Rockets. You just have a stacked West Conference that these Blazers have been a 5 or 4 seed, 6 seed in the past 3 years, and they've just been, they've kind of been swept under the rug. And you say you put Dame over Kyrie. I don't know. Kyrie's won a championship. He's been there.
Yeah, he's
But I guess it's definitely an argument to have I'll say this, Damian Lillard has been one of my favorite players in the NBA since he stepped foot in the NBA, since I've watched him at Weber State.
Yeah, me too.
You follow his social media, dude. He's just a super down-to-earth dude off the court. And every press conference, man, just keeps it 100.
No nonsense.
No nonsense, dude. And he's just a genuine, real dude.
Yeah.
And I think he's really stepping into his own right now, and he's really stuck out with the Blazers. Last year the Blazers were a really good team, and injury just destroyed that team. And
just like this year with Yusuf Nurkic, he was playing great, and then
it always seems to happen to the Blazers too, man. When they had Brandon Roy, Greg Oden, they had a lot. I mean, Brandon Roy could have been easily top 3 guard there for a while with Kobe, and he went down to knee injuries and stuff. And it always seems to happen to the Blazers, but Damian Lillard, he's really stuck it out with the Blazers organization, man, and I think he's really reaping the benefits right now.
LaMarcus Aldridge left him, and I think if LaMarcus would have stayed,
But yeah, that team could have been really dangerous, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Lillard, I believe, is a top 5 point guard, probably behind Steph, Kyrie, and James Harden in no particular order. If you count James Harden as a point
Yeah,
guard.
yeah.
because he
'Cause
does
he-
handle the ball a
A
lot.
lot, yeah, him and Chris Paul, but definitely a top 10 player and top 5 point guard. Because if you look, like Jess was saying, he came up clutch in the series, and he always seems to come in clutch when it matters most. Against Houston a couple years ago, when he hit that shot, just this past week, and then
There's going to be more to come, too.
there
for
will
sure.
be, yeah. And I think a lot of people, I think the Blazers kind of took offense to a lot of count counting them out this series. Because everyone had, and I mean, I had the Thunder beating them in 6, just based upon what happened to them last year, getting beat 4-0 by the Pelicans.
Yeah,
So I kind of figured, but they proved a lot of people wrong.
yeah. But I think another thing about Damian was he was just a man amongst boys in that first round series. He went and dropped 50 in the closeout game and had 34 at half, then hit a deep buzzer beater in the face of one of the best, if not the best, defensive player in the NBA right now.
Yeah, Klay Thompson, nothing against him. Or Paul George, my bad. Yeah, Paul George. But him being a great defender, he's one of the front runners for Defensive Player of the Year. And Paul George, after the game, said, "That's a bad shot, Dame. Bad shot all the way." But Damian Lillard, I was looking at stats from 30-plus feet, and he was shooting like 70% in that series from 30-plus feet. So
the
it's
rest
just,
of the league was shooting like 15.
yeah,
when
like
I saw that
15 to
too.
20% the rest of the league was shooting from that range. So it was not a bad shot for Dame. Just another day in the office for him.
Yeah, and from Paul George's point of view, man, he's frustrated. Paul George played a pretty good series too, and
Yeah.
to go off topic, he is one of the best two-way players in the NBA. Him and Kawhi are up
Yeah,
there.
definitely.
And it comes with frustration. A big shot, viral, hit in your face, 50 on you. The frustration, dude. And I get where he's coming from. We've all had those games where, you couldn't do anything against a player, and and the frustration comes out in the press conference. You see where he's coming from. No, it's not a bad shot. Damian Lillard, you could see the confidence when he was sizing Paul George up before he hit. When you just saw him sizing up, you're like, he's gonna pull this, and he did, and he hit it. And
I mean, it probably wasn't the smartest shot, but
when
he
you're
hit it.
when you're
When
that
you're feeling it
hot,
like that.
man, yeah.
And if Russell Westbrook or him would have hit that shot, then I don't think he would have said that was a bad shot.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. But yeah, you see the frustration, and he knows it wasn't that bad of a shot, but it's just frustration of getting that big shot hitting you, 50 on you, closing out the series. A whole bunch of stuff coming into it, and
Yeah, that, and I look at the Clippers-Warriors series, Pat Bev kind of controlling KD, sort of, and then you hear Lou Williams, veteran, say KD's one of those special players that there's no defensive scheme that you can do to stop that guy. No matter what you do, he's one of those special players. I think Damian is one of those special players that you put your best defender on him every night, all night.
And you just hope to contain them.
Yeah,
you
you
can't
just
stop them.
no, and I think Damian is one of those special players, and I think you got to give credit when credit is due, and I think Paul George should have handled that differently and said Dame is one of those special guys, just like Lou Williams did.
yeah, I guess from their point of view, it's hard to put Dame in that category yet because we think of it as LeBron, KD, Steph, James.
Harden.
Probably those four, really, that when you talk about special players.
Yeah.
And but to add to that, Giannis, to add to that Clips and Warriors series, man, props to the Clippers.
Yeah.
Huge season, bunch of role players.
Yeah.
And Doc Rivers really proved himself as a coach this year. Doc Rivers is a great coach.
Great coach. Yeah.
And Lou Will, man, I've been a fan since he was playing with Allen Iverson back on the Sixers, and he's been one of the coldest one of the coldest dudes in the NBA, dude. Him and Jamal Crawford.
Yeah, let
But,
alone a six
Yeah,
man.
yeah, let alone a six-man, and just a dude that comes day in and day out and does his job. And you watch this press conference, and the reporter asks, why haven't you started, man? You've been one of the coldest dudes in the NBA your whole career. And he goes, well, no one's ever asked me to do that, so I worked on being the best six-man.
And he
And,
has.
and that's like a lot. I mean, you try and take that point of view into life too. Just be the best you can be at whatever it is. But props to the Clippers. Huge series. Huge season. And I was really pulling for him. I think a lot of America was too.
Yeah, they had, they
Time
had
to see Golden State
Yeah.
go down.
yeah, they had a chance to make it to Game 7 too.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, they had them where they wanted
Yeah.
in LA, but they couldn't get it done.
But Lou Will,
props to them, yeah.
Lou Will, Pat Bev, Montrezl Harrell, straight dogs. Like
Yeah.
those dudes came day in and day out, man, and they just went at it.
underrated.
Yeah.
as
A lot of
heck, 'cause-
respect.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm pretty sure the Warriors are giving them respect too, because I don't think they came into that series thinking, oh,
No, and Shy Alexander, dude, huge rookie that came in. He really impressed me when I watched him play, and I didn't know much about him when he was coming out into the draft, dude. When he came out of Kentucky, right? Yeah, but he's gonna be good, I think.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, adding on to that I think the only thing to kind of take the Warriors down would be two things. Maybe physicality if a team kind of gets physical with them, and then coming from within. But other than that, I don't see anything. Those are the only two reasons.
I can agree with you, Shane, but the 76ers I thought they showed the rest of the league. The Warriors aren't
Unbeatable.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think the rest of the league is like, oh, we can beat these guys now, and I think it's going to be tough for the Warriors to repeat again.
Yeah, and when you watch the Warriors, it's like even when the Clips series, like the Clips got momentum going, and then here comes KD. He goes for 10 straight. Jesus. And then here comes. I mean, it just comes in waves, dude. You have and the Clips almost did exactly what you said. Beat him with physicality. Because Pat Bev, dude, he's like one of those dudes you hate to play like open gym because he just comes and plays like hard for like 10 straight games. He smells musty and stuff, dude. He's all up in your grill the whole time. But he can't. Montrezl Harrell, dude, physical rebounder. And he came with it, And I thought they were gonna do it exactly what you said with physicality because. I don't know what's going on in the Warriors locker room with KD's, what's going on there.
They say he's got 1 foot out the door.
Yeah, I don't know, but he didn't play like that series, dude.
No.
And KD, in my opinion, right now, and this is gonna make you mad, KD is the best basketball player in the world right now.
I agree.
He's definitely the most skilled, but I'd still have to put James Harden ahead of him.
Yeah, but top two, I'd have to give
Top
those two
three,
my top two
yeah,
right
top
there.
three. Yeah,
I don't know.
he's
I don't know. I still think it goes KD LeBron.
Because how can you guard a guy like that? I mean, really, Pat
7-footer
Bev.
that can shoot
Yeah, and
anywhere. He has
Exactly.
the handles. He can drive, finish.
yeah, when he posts up,
Then
you can't contest it.
Now
Such
he's
a high
rebounding
release.
good, and he's playing great defense
He's a
too.
huge shot blocker. Yeah, I think if Giannis gets to that tier, if he develops a consistent jump shot, he's even more scary than KD if he has a I don't know actually. KD's so smooth at a 7 foot. He plays like a 6'3" dude at 7
Yeah.
foot.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, dude. He's unreal. And he's fun to watch.
I
Yeah.
agree. Well, let's move to the future of the Mavericks organization and other up-and-coming NBA franchises. The NBA franchise that I have my eyes on right now, they're horrible, but I think the Suns with Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Josh Jackson, Mikal Bridges, I think they could be something. And then they have a draft pick this year, a good one, and arguably one of the most hyped draft classes of all time.
Yeah, I would agree. And Devin Booker's a killer, man, and I love watching that dude play. You want to talk about a pure scorer? He has all the attributes. DeAndre Ayton, everyone's talking about, everyone's talking about Luka and Trae Young. Well, DeAndre Ayton came in and averaged a double-double rookie season. I mean, that's big. That's hard to do. Mikal Bridges, I was super impressed with him in last year's tournament, dude. 3-and-D, dude, that's 6'9". He's super long, can hit the three consistently. And I thought the 76ers should have kept that pick because he's exactly what they needed, but, that's in the past. But I agree with you. The Suns, they have the potential to really take off soon.
Yeah, Mavs Mavs, I don't know how bright their future will be. I think they have a lot of potential, including Luka and Kristaps. That was a big trade for them during the trade deadline this season. But looking at it, they're the fourth oldest team in the NBA right now. So I think for them to be good, they got to kind of, somehow trade or get rid of those older guys to bring in new potential great players from college.
I don't think that's really going to matter in anything because they have Luka and Kristaps there. And then I think NBA players are going to want to come play with the new emerging stars.
Yeah.
I agree with that, yeah.
And
They could. You never know if a superstar like Kawhi or KD could go there this
And then
offseason.
Kawhi's so unpredictable.
You never know. Yeah, you never
can't
know
read
with
that,
them.
dude.
No.
But then another thing is that Luka played great this season. Kristaps has already proved that he's one of the best players in the NBA. And another thing is Mark Cuban, he doesn't matter. He's going to spend the money. He wants championships, as he's shown in the past.
Yeah, exactly.
To add to that too, they're in the lottery too. They have a top pick coming in. And I think Luka really is. There's a lot of hype around him, but he is literally one of the most consistent rookies I've seen. As far as number-wise and play-wise, dude, that dude came in every night. And it was like he's doing something every night. Everyone was like, there's a lot of hype already around him, but everyone's like, holy cow.
I feel like he didn't play like a rookie.
No, exactly. He played like this was his fourth year in the league. Well, and he's been playing. He was Spanish MVP, right? Or the EuroLeague MVP at 18 or something. He's played against grown men his whole life since he moved to Real Madrid. Since he moved to Madrid and played for that club team. Yeah. But
yeah, it's not new for him.
Yeah, no. He's like, but like Mark even said, he's still like a kid. Like, what do you think Luke is gonna work on this summer? And he's like, well, he's gonna be playing Fortnite on a boat. And that's just how the dude is. Like, he's laid back, and then he just comes in and kills everyone in a game.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And
I think he's having a lot of fun too. It's not just business for him.
Yeah,
I can tell.
He wants to grow on this Mavs team too, I think, because people want to come play with him. You see a highlight reel from him every night of the, and
every day
super
we come to
efficient as
school,
well.
Like, did you see what Luka did last
Yeah,
night?
and super efficient as well.
And you got Kristaps to that, dude. But to add to that, another organization I have my eye on, and hear me out on this, because it's kind of a stretch, big stretch. But I have my eyes on the New York Knicks right now. Kevin Knox, Dennis Smith Jr., and I know a whole bunch of no names, but those two alone. DeAndre Jordan, I think he's locked in for one more year. I could be wrong.
So, yeah.
I could be wrong. But he can help. And then, potential Zion, dude. That changes the whole aspect.
Yeah,
Zion,
everyone's gonna want to come play
Zion in New York City, dude.
Yeah.
That's big time.
Yeah.
Or even RJ Barrett, which I think RJ Barrett and everyone's talking Zion, but I think RJ Barrett's a better fit for New York City to grow on.
I agree. I don't know.
Because he's like this 6'8" facilitator, can score, do everything. And I know Zion's this huge prevalent, social media prevalent. Everyone loves Zion, but I think RJ Barrett right now for the New York Knicks. I don't even know if they'll get the number one pick, but I think RJ Barrett's a better fit for the New York Knicks to grow on right now.
I agree with Payton there. You got Kevin Knox, who's really good out of college. He's kind of. I don't want to relate him to Zion, but he could fill that small forward position nice for them. And I think the Knicks need a facilitator like RJ, like Peyton said. So I agree with that. That'll be if they get that, that'd be a good one for them.
Yeah, that's just for the Knicks. Not saying that RJ will be the number one pick, but I think RJ is a better fit for the New York Knicks organization in general.
Yeah.
And then you add in possibly they have 2 max free agent slots too. Not saying that they're going to get both, but even just one, that'd be a scary young team.
Yeah, you got Clay. You got Clay, KD, Kawhi.
Kyrie.
Kyrie.
It's a huge offseason.
Yeah,
Tobias
I'm looking
The
forward to
NBA
the
can get
offseason.
shaken up this
Yeah.
year.
And
Yeah.
Kawhi, you can't read that. You can't even tell if he's having fun in Toronto. Right
Yeah.
now. So he could be going for 40 every night in the playoffs, and he just leaves. I don't know what's on Kawhi's mind, but who knows with Kawhi.
Doesn't even smile.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, New York. That's a bold statement, but I can't help but agree with you. But for me, Denver being the youngest team in the league right now, Denver and Portland are being the 1 and 2 youngest teams in the league right now. Like for Denver, their 3 top stars right now. Jamal is 22 years old. Jokic, who I think could be he had a great they were talking his stats last night. I was watching the video. He's like the first player he had like 180 points, however many rebounds, however many assists, and he's the first player to ever do that. He's 24 years old, and Gary Harris, I think, being their 3rd best guy right now. He's 24 years old. Then you have great role players like Malik Beasley and Monte Morris, and it's their 2nd year in the league.
If Michael Porter Jr. gets healthy,
he could be big for him as well. Will Barton not showing his full potential, I don't think, not having a great season. I think Michael Porter Jr. could fill that position real nice, make him an even younger team with Will Barton. And I think after this season, they'll sign Jamal hopefully to a big deal. I hope. That'll be a good fit.
I kind of agree with you, but I'd say they're 2 top players, and this is just kind of me. But I like Jamal Murray and Gary Harris better than I like Jokic, because you saw in the playoffs, Jokic went off for 45? Still lost by like 20 or 15.
I like Gary Harris, but
yeah,
and they went as Jamal went in the playoffs.
Jokic has the potential to be a first-team All-NBA player this season. He could. He could fill that center spot easy. I mean, not easy, but he's up there with the top 3 centers in the league.
He's top 5, yeah.
Yeah, so he'll get at least first team or second NBA team.
Maybe 3rd, yeah.
Yeah, but still. So I think that shows his full potential. Without Jokic, Denver wouldn't be in this spot at all. They wouldn't make the playoffs without Jokic.
I disagree.
No, I agree, Jess.
Yeah,
they wouldn't be a 2 seed.
They wouldn't make the playoffs without
They'd
Jokic.
make the playoffs. Jess.
They'd have Mason Plumlee as their starting center right now.
Oh, he's gonna play point guard.
No, he's not. But without Jokic, they wouldn't make the playoffs.
I
mean,
disagree.
me knowing I've been a Nuggets fan since I was 5 years old. Without Jokic, they wouldn't make the playoffs. They wouldn't.
Another thing about Jokic, though, is he posted a triple-double in Game 7 and it's the first triple-double since like 2007 or something, or 1997 or something like that.
By center?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's been a while since someone's done that.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
Jokic is one of a kind, I think. Being the best passing center ever already at age 24. I can't wait to what his career brings for him.
So, do you want to move on to the? No, we can talk about the Celtics.
I was gonna
say
add the
Portland.
Kings. Everyone's forgetting about the Kings here. That's a scary NBA team. De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Willie Cauley-Stein, Marvin Bagley's gonna be a stud. I don't care what anyone says. That dude is so gifted and so skilled. And the way the Kings play, man, that up-pace style with De'Aaron Fox leading the charge. And I think next year, give them 2 years, and I think they're top 6 team in the West, which is really hard to do.
That's hard in the West. And Buddy Hield really showed out this season. He really balled out all season.
Depend on how good the Kings could be too, with free agents going to different teams.
And draft, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. This offseason is huge because you have the draft, and then you have, Kevin Durant goes to the East. Clay, because Clay could be a number 1 scoring option on any other team. That's what I've said the last 3 years. And props to him for sitting in the shadows. And I don't know what kind of he seems like just a laid back dude. He seems like he doesn't really need the limelight. But there comes a point in time where you got to go test the waters, because at the end of your career, are you going to say, well, I don't know how great of a player I actually could have been by myself. Yeah. Because I played with, and that's a decision for an NBA player to make, not.
And then Boogie, too.
Yeah.
Going kind of off topic just for a minute here, and it's not part of the script. What do you see the Warriors looking like next season, as far as the
6 seed
players?
team.
I think if you're the Warriors, the Bay is really connected to Steph, obviously. But if you, this is just for this. Like this, I don't know how this is going to come out, but this is just situational based. If you have to keep one dude, it's Kevin Durant. If you have to go all in on one dude, that's the GM standpoint. If you want to keep, because Kevin Durant is the best player, and I know the Bay has huge ties to Stephen Curry because he's been there since the start. So I don't know how this will play out, but if you're if you're coming in non-biased and you look at the situation, you obviously keep Kevin Durant, right? If you have to chase one player out of those 5 All-Stars.
I don't know.
I think I would want to keep Clay.
I think, yeah.
Clay?
Clay's
Well,
leaving.
no.
I'd either keep
I-
Steph or Kevin, but Kevin's
Steph-
obvious.
Steph is locked
is
in.
staying.
Steph
For
is
at
locked
least
in
3
for
more
like,
years.
Yeah.
I was just meaning like Clay.
I
Where
thought
do
you
you see him going?
yeah.
More or less?
I thought
Yeah.
you were talking about this offseason.
Oh yeah,
This
I was
is
just
what I
talking
am,
situational
yeah.
based when it comes down to it. If you have to chase someone, Steph or if you have to pay someone, and it comes down to Kevin or Steph, who are you picking? As your Warriors GM,
I pick
think-
one of those two.
I think
Yeah. I mean, I don't see
I pick
anyone
Kevin
else.
Durant every day out of the week, dude. And I know,
He's
and I know.
definitely all right. Hear me out. He's definitely the better player, but I think for the way the Warriors play, I think it's
Kevin
Steph.
Durant. He's coming in as a two-way player.
Well, what happened when Warriors went ISO last year in the conference finals with KD?
You know,
They still won.
Yeah.
They still won, but the Rockets took like game, I think it was 3 when they went ISO that so many times.
One
Yeah,
game.
me, I
Still
don't.
won
See,
the
I
finals.
see
And conference
absolutely Clay and Kevin
They
leaving this
wouldn't have
offseason.
Oh, yeah.
Paul
I see him.
healthy.
I
You
see.
know that.
I see Kevin. I think he came to Golden State. He's gonna win a ship or two. I mean,
Bandwagon.
yeah, bandwagon. I mean, he wants a ship, but now I think he's really got to go out and prove himself.
Yeah,
He's
that'd
got to
be
go to a mediocre team and turn him into a
like the
team that could
Knicks.
be a
Like
top.
the Clippers.
Yeah, like the Clippers.
I don't know if the Clippers are a mediocre team.
No, I would-
like
I
the
would-
Knicks.
Well, if
Yeah,
you
like
look
the
at it-
Knicks.
like we were
Exactly. Well,
talking.
Knicks are horrible. So if he went to the Knicks and really showed out, took him to the playoffs, that shows a lot about KD and his all-time. He could be an all-time player.
I feel like, and I
If
I
he
don't know.
does
I
that.
feel like a lot of people are super hard on KD because of the decision. Because before he moved, everyone used to love Kevin. You know, he played in a small market team for Oklahoma City. You know, with James Harden and Russell Westbrook, an up and coming team. But you know, that was more or less when James Harden, you know, what obviously wasn't as big of an impact as he is
No.
now. And, you know, Russ had the tendency to run a little wild, especially when he was younger. So, I mean, a lot of games, it came down to KD. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of people are, you know, trying to hurt his legacy. But he was that dude in Oklahoma City. I mean, even in Seattle, when he came, you know, he's been that dude at every step of his career in basketball. Like, you talk about high school, he came into Texas, and he killed everyone in college. You know, he came into the NBA and killed everyone his rookie year. I don't know. I feel like a lot of – and I get why people hate KD. You know, he sold out and stuff. But at the end of the day, you know, the man has killed everyone at every level of basketball that he's played in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
he's done that, and I believe it hasn't necessarily the move to Golden State. It was kind of weak, but I don't necessarily believe it hurt it. But I don't think it helps it a lot either.
Well, no, but
Because as far as championships, he's gonna ride the 3 championships. Not a ride, but you know what I'm saying, kind of. He's got a lot of help. If he doesn't go off, it's
I
pretty
guess
much
it's the way
guaranteed
the
Steph
situation.
or Clay
Yeah.
will.
Another thing, though, is
It's the way.
if he wouldn't have gone to the Warriors, I don't think the Warriors would be
At a
any
high
chance
level.
again.
Oh yeah.
I
No.
think LeBron probably would have won
Gotten a
one or
One
couple
two
more.
more.
Yeah. But when we look at it,
Not 3, Shane.
Not
Can't-
4,
like, this is-
not
it-
5, not
it's-
6, not 7.
Jesus. it's the way it played out because every great dynasty's had, you know, a ton of help. Like you look at the Bulls, you know, you had Scottie Pippen, MJ, Dennis Rodman, Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
You know,
Paxson,
Paxson
that
and-
shot, Kukoc.
yeah. I mean,
They
but
weren't
that
necessarily
team
stars,
but that
they-
team was like Bill, R.J. Harper, you know, but that team was like built. And I mean, these guys. I mean, I guess the Warriors, in an instance, were built too. You know, you draft
Steph,
Clay, Draymond,
Draymond.
and I think DeMarcus is out of the question with the super team. I mean, you know, obviously he's a superstar center, but this is a lag year coming off an Achilles injury.
Yeah.
Before that, he was an absolute monster. Probably one of the most skilled centers I've ever seen in my life.
And
But
arguably the best in the league.
yeah,
at
but
the time.
this is like a lag year for him, kind of getting rebuilt, which is a
Yeah.
good thing to do in Golden State because you don't have to play at your top level. But I think he's kind of out of the question as far as like the dynasty
No,
of Golden
it's-
State. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah, then he got injured.
Yeah. Then he got
I mean,
injured again.
Yeah, he's out for the playoffs
But the
now, I
po-
think. But
The point of the thing is, minus the 04 Pistons, every championship team has been effing stacked. You look back on the old Celtics teams, dude.
the
What, 4 or
Lakers.
5 Hall of Famers? The
Yeah.
Lakers, Shaq, Kobe.
yeah.
I mean, it's just
Yeah.
the way it happened.
Yeah.
But you look at every championship team, dude.
LeBron in the Heat.
LeBron
LeBron in the Heat.
Yeah.
And then you got Kyrie. I mean, Kyrie's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Kevin Love. he was
Kevin
great at
Love
the
is
time.
probably going to be a Hall of Famer as well.
Well, I don't know.
He
I
was
mean,
great at the time.
Yeah,
He
and
was
you got,
great at the time, but he kind of fell off when he came to Cleveland.
Well, then that happens when LeBron
When you play with
recruits.
LeBron.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's gonna.
I mean, you're
happen.
going to drop off
but-
a little. Same with Kyrie. That's why he wanted out.
But now he
But-
wants back in.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
coming
We'll see
to
about
LA.
that.
Let's
No,
go.
dude.
I
I
don't think so.
don't think that's how.
I say
think
him
that's
stay.
Kyrie.
I see him staying with Boston.
I think that'd be the smartest move.
It would be, but because I think the Celtics are in contention to trade for Anthony Davis too.
I don't know if you trade for Anthony Davis.
I think you do. If you can live without trading Jason Tatum, then yeah, you do.
I
I
think
think-
Jalen Brown is super important too.
Me too. I think it would ruin their potential with that group if they got Anthony Davis.
Unless
I
they
think.
get rid of Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think you
he's
can dump
trash,
his.
but-
He's not
He's
trash.
not
He's not trash.
trash.
He was a. I don't
He's
know.
a good
The
defensive
man
player.
broke his leg in half.
Yeah, I know, and I respect the
he
guy,
had a
yeah.
rough go in Boston because in
I mean-
Utah, dude, he is a killer.
He was the man.
Yeah, he's a
man.
dog.
Yeah,
But it's like, to add to that, I was talking about my dad. Like, what if Braun was to go to the Clippers? Well, then he ruins the whole chemistry of those role players that they have together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
So let's get to the NFL draft. How about the Raiders? Fricked everything up. Took a guy, a lot of people had a second round grade and late first round grade
It's John.
at
I don't
the
know.
number
about-
4 pick.
Either John Gruden's really smart and we're not seeing it now, or
Or he's trying
Or
to
he's
kill
trying
I
to-
the
don't, I don't know. He's coming back in
Yeah, I don't
revenge
know.
tour to kill
I
the
don't-
Raiders org.
I don't think, and I've said this from the beginning, you can ask anyone, I didn't think John Gruden coming back after all this time and how much the NFL has changed, I didn't think it was a good move. Well, yeah, it was financially, but as far as the look, like how he'll look coming off of this, I think he kind of came out of the draft looking like a bit of a retard. to
they
be
did
honest.
get the Alabama running back though,
Yeah, he
uh,
was good.
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's good.
and he's good. So that was a good pick for them, I think, right there.
And with
Yeah.
Marshawn
Yeah.
retiring, I think, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
But as typical, they lived up to the Raider expectations.
Yeah, I don't know.
Should have
I
picked
don't know.
Josh Allen, I think.
Denver's going down that same path, and I don't know what the hell John Elway's doing, but I don't. Unless they're Tony Gonzalez or Antonio Gates, who drops a tight end in the first round.
Yeah, I don't know about that. They had Dwayne
Yeah.
Haskins in their draft.
Exactly.
And why
yeah.
did they trade back? I still don't understand. I mean, it took me a minute to process what
know,
even happened.
every year in the
I don't-
draft. I'm disappointed as a Denver fan.
I
'Cause it's
mean-
either an offensive lineman in the first round or a tight end.
I
But-
don't think the Steelers I don't think it was a great trade for either team because I think the Broncos could have used Dwayne Haskins and I think Devin Bush would have been available later in the draft instead of at pick 10. I think they
Yeah.
could have got him later too.
Exactly. But Dwayne Haskins, Redskins definitely got to steal the draft there because you even compare Dwayne Haskins to last year's stat quarterback draft, and he's a lot more mature and NFL ready than most of those huge
Yeah,
prospects last
yeah,
year
he
were.
is.
I agree.
Playing for Ohio State,
And a
but
offense
yeah,
already.
pro offense, and he's playing against. They're not Alabama, and they're not playing Chattanooga State or whatever or Appalachian. I mean, OSU plays tough teams every
week.
single weekend, and
Yeah,
know, but-
I agree. But another good. Oh, you can
Oh, a big shock to me was the Giants too.
Oh God.
They're
Daniel
trying to
Jones.
ruin their
Yeah.
franchise. Daniel
They
Jones.
they needed Dwayne Haskins more than anyone,
yeah,
and
they
they
needed
went
him
with
bad.
I mean,
I don't
Maybe
know
they
what
see
they were
something in
thinking
him
there.
nobody else sees.
Maybe
I
we'll
think-
all be wrong and he'll be good.
I'm
but
gonna
I
take
don't
I'm
know.
gonna take the bet that Dwayne Haskins should have been, what was it, 5th overall that the
Yeah.
Giants went,
5th or 6th.
5th or
yeah.
6th, and he should have been the first quarterback. I haven't even watched a kid from Duke, but I watched his stats compared to Dwayne Haskins, and he started 2 more seasons, and Dwayne Haskins threw for 2 more touchdowns,
Yeah.
and I think it was 11 less interceptions.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, a lot more
He
potential
threw
with him. I
54
think.
touchdowns and like 9 picks,
And-
I think.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
That's
Nothing
great
against
numbers.
Yeah.
Duke's football program, but we're talking about Dwayne Haskins, a product of Ohio State.
Yeah,
Urban
Duke.
Meyer as a coach, and this kid from Duke that I've never watched, seen, or anything. Yeah, he ran a fast 40 time, but
Yeah, risky move, I
Yeah,
think,
I
because
don't-
Duke's not even
It-
known for their football.
I guess it's like
program.
the
I
Mitch
mean,
Trubisky
it's
pick.
basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was real when the Bears picked him. I was like, what in the hell? But
Yeah,
Mitch Trubisky's turned out to be a pretty alright quarterback, I'd say.
Yeah.
Something cool though is Josh Allen went pick number 7
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
think they got a steal.
Uh-huh.
And congratulations to Andrew Wingard
Yeah.
signing with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
All
as
the
well.
pokes signing. I saw.
But I think Josh Allen's going to be a good player for the Jaguars. He can rush the quarterback, plays good coverage. He's a good player. And then another thing I was surprised is DK Metcalf fell a long
yeah,
ways.
long ways.
And what's the other kid from Ole Miss is the other wide receiver? He went.
Nikhil Harry, right?
I can't remember. But you go back and watch Ole Miss. He was a kid that was actually putting up huge jump. I mean, no discredit to DK because he's a freak athlete, and I watched him on his pro day. His biggest knock was route running, and obviously being a pure wide receiver. And I think he ran his routes fine, And I think Seattle's not a bad fit for him with Russ too. And I think he'll be. I mean, he's going to be a great wide receiver. But you look at the other kid from Ole Miss. He was the one that put up these huge numbers, and I think he deserved to go.
Yeah, I think they had a lot of the mock drafts I saw. They had DK going first round, maybe late or early second round, but he dropped to pick 100 fourth round. Yeah, and when Seahawks head coach called, he said we got some work to do, because he looked fine in the 40. When he benched, he looked fine, but then when they did the cone drills, that's where it struck him. He needs to work on his agility a lot more. And all of his muscle isn't. He's got potential, but they got to work on his agility and quick movements a lot more.
I
is
think
what
he was the best deep
is what I
ball
took.
receiver in the draft, and he went to arguably the best deep
Yeah.
passer in the NFL, in Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one to argue for another day.
Yeah.
But another Denver Bronco draft, another disappointment. I thought last year I think this draft. I'm usually I exaggerate big time. Because I think Drew Lock's a decent prospect, and I think they needed a draft offensive line this year. And last year they drafted fine too. But
They did
I think
draft.
eventually you have to address because I don't know if Drew Lock. I know Joe Flacco's just a supplement. Eventually you have to go and get your quarterback, and I don't know.
Your franchise
think-
Yeah.
quarterback.
I think, though, that as far as Denver's decision to draft a quarterback, I think they should have waited, because next year's draft for quarterbacks,
Jake Fromm,
Jake
and those are,
Fromm,
and then I think the
Jalen
Oregon
Hurts.
quarterback.
Jalen
Yeah,
Hurts,
Hurts, too.
But next year's a good
I
draft.
think Will Greer
Yeah, well,
from West Virginia, he
Yeah.
didn't go till 5th round, I want to say, 4th or 5th round. I think he could have went a lot earlier, and that would have been a good pick for the Broncos. I think I see a lot more potential in him as well.
yeah.
But I think that's all the time we have today. So I'd like to thank Payton for coming on, and I think you'll probably come on again.
Yeah,
Be a regular
yeah,
guest.
Yeah, I want to thanks for having me on. Thanks for taking time out of your guys' day to let me come argue some sports with you, man. It was super fun.
Yep.
Yep.
But Jaden,
Jess.
Shane?
we're Upton Sports Talk, and tune in next week.